here. Chat, we're going to get right into it, as usual. You have to see this movie. If you have time tonight, if you have time tomorrow, I understand it's the weekend, maybe you had plans. You have to see this movie.
Where do you want me, Georgie?
Oh, I don't want you anywhere, man. You're going on that side because apparently that's your good side.
This is my good side, but it's not great.
I want you to look a little nicer. How is it you have 3 gray hairs and they're all on your shirt?
Hi, everybody.
Where did we first cross?
George,
paths?
first time we ever had conversations was at SNL.
Yeah, it was the baths is where we first crossed paths.
That was but we were quiet.
bath.
We didn't say
Baths?
nothing to
Nobody
each other.
spoke.
We both ignored what was
We
happening.
weren't even really facing each other. And then, no, it was SNL. That's right.
SNL, you were hosting.
SNL.
It was,
Okay.
Farley was there then.
Farley,
that's
Spade,
right. Wow.
Schneider, we all loved you. You came in, you were funnier than all of us.
We played basketball night, remember?
That was a Tuesday night. You
That's right, it
were
was Tuesday
commanding the court. You played better than all of us.
That's
Farley
not
was struggling to stay with you.
But you know, he was a better basketball player
Yes.
than I thought.
Yes.
Than I thought was
really
coming
good.
in. He was actually pretty good.
And that wasn't his sport. He was a football player.
And Kevin Nealon.
Yes.
Waste of height. what I'd like
But
to
he
say.
can put in a layup.
He could put a layup, but waste of height, really. Come on, he was a big boy, and
You know what? I saw some old footage. Kevin is on tour with me.
Oh, yes.
And he showed me some old footage of him. He was a college quarterback,
Oh, well, there you go.
and he was taking hits, and he would show me like 3 or 4 great passes, and then him getting taken down a big look.
It's like my guy, Joe Burrow, getting taken down every 5 minutes. So we met in New York. This is like 1996, I would say.
Yes,
Something
and then
like that.
and I always remember you. It was Lorne. You and me got to go to a Knicks game together.
That's right.
We sat. We watched the game. Everybody was staring at you. There was you at that time, Clooney was.
I was very famous then.
quite
Yes,
famous.
Sure.
It was the start of the
And
Clooney.
it's been a
It's been
like
a decline,
that decline since
but
then.
I stayed watching you as you sailed.
as I floated away. I remember I was nervous about hosting the show because I'd never done Saturday Night Live before, and I got there the week before, and I wanted to see the Saturday night before. And the host was Deion Sanders, and he was also his own musical
That's
guest.
right. That's
so
right.
he sang like "Must Be the Money,"
That's right.
and he hosted.
I remember
and
that
I
too.
told Lauren that I was nervous.
Yeah.
And he said, "You'll be all right." And I was like, "I'm nervous about doing this." So I'm watching that show,
Yeah.
and Deion singing "Must Be the Money."
Yeah.
And I walked up behind him as I was watching, Lauren standing like that watching, and I said, "I'll be fine."
I remember both those shows, buddy, and I remember you were very calm. Your monologue was calm. That's
I was
not an
nervous.
easy thing, though.
Now thank you. I've done, that's my mother.
Chat, one of the best things is talking about an event that you and someone that you have nothing but love for, you both recall the event, but both of you just see it so differently. One was nervous and trying to get through the monologue. The other, seeing him calm and
What
steady.
actors, when they go on the show, don't understand is that because you have to build sets for the routines, and you work on more routines than you actually air. So you probably have 9 bits, and maybe you're going to use 7, so they got to build
If
these
that.
sets, and you're kind of throwing these pieces out. They don't worry about the opening
the whole
monologue
show center.
at all because they don't have to build a
last
set.
minute, yeah.
And so, but the only thing the actors who are coming on the show care
Yes,
about is the
yes.
opening monologue.
That's
because that's what you
true.
get judged
Yes,
by.
yes.
Right.
And so you're sitting there just panicked about like, well,
Yes.
what about this?
That's why you see stand-up comedians who host a show are the most confident at
Yeah.
that spot.
Yeah.
They're like, I got my 8-minute chunk. I'm gonna go kill. And then
When was the last time you hosted?
I only hosted one time, maybe 5 years ago.
Only once?
Only once. It's scary. It's scary.
Do you think that they're just mad at you and
They're
don't like
disgusted with me. No, they're always nice to me. I just I had little bits I would do throughout
Sure.
the years, like a weekend update or maybe a little part in a skit. But the only time I hosted was once, and it is before they introduce you and you're backstage and you're alone, ladies and gentlemen, Jordan, you are losing it, right?
Yeah. Is it different hosting than it was being a regular on the show?
100%. I didn't want to. I liked being on the show and maybe being in 2 skits maximum, and that when you're in every skit, your head is spinning and you get confused.
Well, there was also a funny thing that was happening was that this, at least at this point, kind of a lot of those skits would turn out to be movies. A couple of the skits you do. So when you get there on, I guess it's Monday, for the table reading, they start reading skits, and each of them were like trying to retrofit a skit that they thought might become a movie onto the actor. So there was a lot of like trying to figure out what you were best at doing for the host, to host. So it was really.
What was your best skit that night? Do you remember?
I actually don't remember. The one I loved was we did one with Farley where we were at SeaWorld and we all just kept getting blasted with water.
Yes, that was
just because he's so funny and he was so like,
oh, that's right. And I remember somebody was standing with a bucket.
They were just there with a bucket.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Adam's memory is.
So when you started out, did you start out as a stand-up?
The goal was just to be an actor, but I think, yes, my first move was when I was very young, 17, I started stand-up.
And what's that mean? How do you do that?
It was my brother was going to Boston University, and he told me about a stand-up club.
Like an open mic night?
Open mic night, and he got me a number when I was a senior in high school, and went to town and did it, and didn't do well, but I got excited about it.
Before that, were you considering being an actor? Was that a thought or not?
It wasn't really a thought until college applications, and it kept saying major, and I would say to my brother, "What should I major?" He goes, "You should be an actor." That was kind of how.
Really?
Yes.
And is that what you applied for?
I wrote actor. I applied to NYU, Carnegie Mellon, and like 4 other schools.
And you got into a community college somewhere.
I got into some. I didn't get into anything, but I went anyways. No, NYU, for some reason I got in there, and it was kind of before NYU was the great school. Now it's like so hard to get into, but I think I just got snuck in.
They felt sorry for you.
They felt bad. They never heard a guy with that much of a unsure quality. My first television gig was Showtime at the Apollo.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
that wasn't an acting gig, was it?
That was a stand-up.
Oh,
I was 18, got on there, and that was a big deal. They gave me a limousine to get there.
I would like to see. Can you?
It was kind of rough. I think if you look it up, you'll see that I wasn't my smoothest quite yet. How about you?
But I mean, I want to finish this for a second because the difference between being an actor and being a stand-up is night and day, right? The both of them risk humiliation, right? That's why.
True.
That's why people don't really do it, and it's hard to succeed. It's because, you'd rather jump out of a foxhole than be humiliated.
Yes.
But the risk I always think of it as like actors, and then singers, and then stand-up comedians, because with an actor, you do a job and maybe they react, maybe they don't. If it's theater. If it's a movie, you don't even see it for a year.
Yeah.
As a singer, you get a reaction pretty quickly, obviously, if you're in an audience.
That's true.
But as a stand-up, there's only one way this works, right? Either they laugh, or they don't. Either you win or you lose. There is no
less blame and less ability to blame others.
Yes, and you also have to be like, well, I was going for a dramatic turn.
That's true. That's true.
And so it seems to me that one to me always takes more balls.
I think the only thing I had going for me back then was how young I was, and I didn't even understand when I did badly.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I didn't even get it. I was just like, I think something was wrong with the audience that night. I did not ever take full.
Did you blame the audience?
Ignorance.
I blame the audience. The last person I blamed was myself.
Sure. Well, that should be the regular. That's how I in general.
That's how we live now.
Yeah,
Yes.
I believe in that because I think I think blame anyone but yourself in general. That's how to survive a marriage.
Yes.
Blame anyone but yourself, right?
How about you, George? Your first gig, first audition, first kind of thing.
first audition, I mean, it was a very weird thing because I was a kid in Kentucky, and I had an aunt who was well known, Rosemary Clooney, and she had a couple of kids who were actors, particularly her oldest son, Miguel Ferrer, Jose Ferrer's kid. But I'd never met Jose Ferrer, who was an Oscar winner.
Wow.
And my Aunt Rosemary had come to Kentucky 3 or 4 times, so I only knew her a little bit. And they were the sort of Hollywood family that I was always very jealous of. I felt like they were living such a glamorous
Of
life,
course.
you know.
She was buddies with everybody.
Oh yeah,
She was
Frank.
a superstar.
There's tons of things with her singing with Frank and Tony Bennett. And my dad was an anchorman. And before that, he had a talk show called the Nick Clooney Show
his pops
in
was an
Cincinnati,
anchorman.
a little market.
Yeah.
And it was a low budget place. And so in the summers, I would go and
family
I'd be
in front of the screen.
I'd be
Or in front of the
first AD.
camera.
I'd like cue the cameras and stuff for my dad at
That's
11
cool.
years old.
That's nice.
And I would, even earlier than that, I would play, it was live television. And so they'd do commercials on live TV. So it would be for Husband's Potato Chips or things like that. And I would end up having to do, like if it was Easter, they had an Easter bunny outfit. I was like 9 years old, and my dad would put me in the Easter bunny outfit.
Really?
And he would interview me. So it's a big day, Easter bunny, isn't it? And I'd always have a cigar, and I go, yeah, it's a big day for me. And, and then it was
pretty cool,
St.
man.
Patrick's Day, and I'm in a leprechaun outfit at 10.
And you played it as a straight guy,
with
like
a cigar.
no accent.
Well, no, I had to, like St. Patrick's Day, I do that bad,
Bad
Lucky
Irish.
Charms.
Right.
You ought to teach it, and that'll come back to haunt me. But it wasn't acting. It was just, it was just being a kid and playing. And really how I was making my money from the time I was about 13 till 18 was cutting tobacco. That's how you got paid. It was like for $3 an hour. And then Miguel, my first cousin, came to Kentucky to do a horse racing movie. And I was walking horses at River Downs, which was a kind of an old beat up racetrack near Cincinnati. And they were going to go down to Keelan, which is a beautiful one in Lexington, and to shoot.
They were going to shoot.
And he got me a part as an extra. Which and all of a sudden I'm on a set, and it was it was exciting and fun.
Yeah.
And he just goes, "You got to come to California, be an actor." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, exactly.
And I got in my beat up, Monte Carlo with rust all over it, and I drove to California.
Was it the next day that you did that?
Well, I remember walking in to tell my mom and dad that I was leaving college and I was going to go to, I was going to go to California to be an actor, and my dad was like, "You're an idiot."
And he was pissed.
Oh, he was pissed.
Right, yeah.
Because he wanted me to get an education, and he wanted me to, he also knew how hard it was. And he kept saying,
yes.
I remember one point he said, "I don't think you have the smarts to be an actor." And now you realize that's really not a prerequisite.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
A lot of people like that stuff. A lot of my white boy friends like that zine.
And then I drove out there. I stayed with Rosemary for a couple of months, and then she kicked me out. And then I slept on the floor of a closet, a buddy of mine, and rode a bicycle to auditions for about 2 years.
Love that.
And then started to get some work. And the first movie I got, we talked about, was this thing called Grizzly 2 in Budapest with Laura Dern.
Yeah, that's right.
She was 15.
That's right. And
I was
Sheen.
20. And Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other actors, And the movie never came out because it was really, it ended up being a scam. It's these Hungarian dudes, and they were just, and we went to Hungary while it was still a communist country.
Wow.
And then it ran out of money, and they couldn't fly us home. So Charlie and Laura and I were stuck in Budapest for like 2 months, like doing nothing.
Sure, man.
And then we finally got home. And when we got home, Charlie got Platoon.
Yeah.
And Laura was doing Mask and all these, she was doing all these cool, and I got The Facts of Life.
Wow.
And,
That's still huge.
I was thrilled. I was thrilled, to have a Mask and all these, she was doing all these cool, and I got the Facts of Life.
Wow,
And,
that's still huge.
I was thrilled. I was
Yes.
thrilled,
Couldn't
to have
believe it. That
a
show was massive.
Yeah, it was a big hit. That show had been running a long time at that point. Now it just came on as the.
You did you go out with somebody in it?
No, not really. I think people think I did, but I was just the next door neighbor.
Yeah, I got you.
It was they kind of spun.
You were
off-
a little older than the girls on?
a couple years older. They spun. I was like 22.
Gotcha.
They spun me off. Not really spun me off, but it was Embassy Television. It was owned by Norman Lear, and I was doing a sitcom called ER. A sitcom, 10 years earlier with Elliot Gould and Lynn Moody and Conchata Ferrell.
I love music, Ace, but I don't listen to it when I'm supposed to be doing other things.
You're too hard on yourself, Doc.
And the show got canceled after a year, and then I went on to the Facts of Life.
That's so crazy. But I do remember back then when you got something, it was forever. Your connection, you loved everybody on the show. They became such good friends of yours. I remember people asking me, how much money do you get? And I'd be like, I don't even know. I didn't care. I was just like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this. That was so exciting.
That was one of those most amazing things, was because you would do it and had done it for free.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden somebody gives you a check for $1,200.
Oh, that was...
And you're like...
You couldn't believe.
Oh my God!
Yeah. I did a commercial when I was young.
Oh, those were very big.
Holy cow! Was that?
That was a whole different thing, because they went in 13-week intervals, if you remember.
Oh yes.
So you do a commercial.
They're renewing it.
And they renew it.
Yeah,
and if they renewed it, you get. I actually went in.
Nice.
This one, I went in. I was so bad at auditioning for commercials.
Hey, you see
I was-
me, I'm going.
Me too.
And I went in
Give
for
me
a
a commercial.
Doritos commercial.
And
the
y'all talk
casting
about
director,
Kevin Hart
when you
and
read
Shaq,
the breakdown,
they'll do anything.
It said, this guy's young and hip and
Those
funny,
commercials.
like Ace on ER.
They pay.
On the sitcom ER. I was Ace on the sitcom ER.
Wow.
And I went in to read, and the guy goes, okay, this guy's like young and hip. He's like Ace
He
on ER.
didn't know.
And I was like, I'm Ace on ER. And he's like, okay, go with that, guys. And I auditioned, and I didn't get it. I couldn't even get myself.
That's amazing.
That's how bad
man.
I was at the audition.
You would choke. I was a choker too, man.
Were you?
And I would choke right when I walked into the waiting area, and like in our movie, and saw the other guys auditioning.
Oh, yeah.
They looked a little like we all kind of had a similar vibe, but they had more confidence. I just failed right when I saw everyone else. I was like, oh shit, they're better than me, man.
There's also that moment where, when you test for a pilot, because a pilot's where you can make some
That's
real
right.
money.
Yeah.
Because that's a pilot to be a regular in a series.
Right.
And you show up at the audition, and there's 5 other guys testing.
Yes.
And the first thing they do is they put a contract in front of you.
Oh,
Let's say
wow.
you're going to make $7,000 a week on the show.
Yeah.
But the contract will be for $35,000 for the pilot, right?
That's right.
And it's sitting there, and you have to sign it. You have to make the deal before you go in and test.
Wow.
And there's 5 other guys who signed that same piece of paper.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, this is, you're so close.
Life-changing.
It's life-changing
yes.
money. And, 99 times out of 100, you don't get it.
Oh, yeah, man. I got a pilot one time. I didn't even know what it meant. I was on a pilot. It was called the Marshall Chronicles.
Oh, I remember the Marshall Chronicles.
Yeah.
Excuse me, is this SAT review class? Yeah. Do I sit anywhere, or what am I, an usher?
And it was. I remember Joe Bologna's son was on it, and I got it. Told all my friends I'm on a TV show, and I didn't understand what a pilot meant. I didn't know about things getting picked up, and I just remember every time I go home, they'd be like, "When's that? When are we going to see it?" I'd be like, "I don't know, but it's on. I did it." They're like, "You sure you did it?" I was like, 100%, man.
There's some website now that'll show pilots that didn't get picked up.
Oh, I see.
Because I did 13 pilots.
You did?
Yeah, I did pilot after pilot.
So you were
after
good. You got good at auditioning.
Later on, I got better at audition.
Yeah.
Well, you know what happened? I'll tell you a funny thing. I was bad at audition, and fear would be my reason. I get in, my chest would tighten.
Same thing, yes.
And I wasn't getting anything. And then I kind of went back to, I said, if you boil everything down, I'm a jock. I'm an athlete. Mm-hmm. And I needed to think of it as like an athlete, because when I first started playing baseball, you get up the plate and you'd be like, I just want to hit the ball. I just want to touch the ball. Don't make me look like an ass.
Right.
And then after a year or two of getting a little more skill and a lot more confidence, then you'd be like, do I want to go to left field? Do I want to go to right field? Hit that way? Do I want to pull it? And most of that, a little bit of skill, but a lot of it was confidence.
That's right.
And so I had to readjust the way I thought of auditioning. Like an athlete.
That's great.
And just go, okay, now it's not, oh, I hope they like me or I hope I'm going to get the job. It's just going to be like, they'd be lucky if they had me.
That's amazing.
And it changed everything for me because
that's
people,
not easy to do, man.
Well, because you start to realize that now that I've directed a bunch of films, every time an actor comes in, you're praying they're there to answer your question and you can go home.
That's true.
But when you're an actor walking in, you're just like,
I'm going to fail,
man. They're going to hate me.
Yes. That same thing with stand-up was the confidence. If I went on stage and I went, these are good jokes I'm going to say, the crowd is there to have a good time, let me do it with them.
Yeah.
And then it went well. When I walked in with these people going to not like me, they owned me immediately. They saw that in your eyes, and then you had a bad night.
Really? Because, I remember seeing certain stand-ups when I was really young.
Yeah.
And there would be a couple that could come out and just stand there.
Unbelievable,
And you're laughing.
Yes.
It's like you're ahead of them.
Of
And
course.
you're in on their inside joke. And I remember thinking that must be the greatest feeling in the world.
Yes. Especially for a comedian, when you get hired, you have to do a certain amount of time. And a guy who can just get on stage, or a woman who can get on stage and do nothing and kill, not only are they killing, but the time's taken away. They feel so happy. They're like, all right, that was 4 minutes. I didn't say a thing.
Oh, so you have to eat up a certain amount of time.
If you get booked for either 20, 45, an hour, that's on the people who booked you. They are thinking about that.
Right. They're precise with that. I see how he can see that might be one of the greatest feelings in the world. A comedian just
This product
demanding
contains nicotine. Nicotine is an
laughter
addictive chemical.
just off his presence, just standing there. For me, it's got to be, because I love music, one of the greatest feelings in the world. Even if you don't do music, you can agree. One of the greatest feelings in the world has to be when you can perform a song, stop the song, and just let the crowd go. And they're just singing your lyrics right back to you. Lyrics when you were a kid, lyrics you wrote when you were struggling, broke, lyrics that represent your family, have something to do with you, lyrics that are so personal. And this crowd of all kinds of faces, all walks of life, some different generations, are sitting, standing, and singing your words back to you. It reminds me of this scene. It started in a basement. Then show me who you are. You know what scene I'm talking about? It's one of my favorite
And
scenes.
you worked with Noah was on what?
Meyerowitz. I met Noah years ago, and I loved his movies. I saw The Squid and the Whale, and I was blown away by that one.
Was that the first movie you saw of his?
I think so.
It was for me.
It was, right? Yeah. Kicking and Screaming, I remember.
Princess Ha later.
His stuff was ridiculous. I loved it. And all the stuff Stiller did with him. One day, Stiller
Wait, Kicking and Screaming is his? I didn't know that. Kicking and Screaming is his. He directed that or wrote that? Let me think. I do not remember seeing his name. I read that
Princess
stuff.
Ha later.
His stuff was ridiculous. I loved it. And all the stuff Stiller did with him. One day, Stiller, 5 years ago, said, let's get lunch. And so the three of us sat down, and then Noah wrote Meyerowitz, and then he did a few others in between. He kept it going, and then he called me about doing this one with you, and sent it to me, and I got excited.
That was funny when we were doing Jay Kelly. There's a scene where you and I and Giovanni have to run about 300 yards, more than 200 yards.
Yeah,
full tilt across the field.
You started us off by going too fast every time.
Well,
too.
but the silly part was, he goes, I need you to go fast. I'm like, okay. So we start running, and because Noah's a guy who really does do like 30 takes. After like 10 of those running, I was like, no, I'm 64 years old. I can't run full tilt.
All of us. Giovanni went down hard. Take one.
Take one. Yeah,
He went down and then had to run a few more times after with a slight limp.
And then finally he came to me and he said, now I'm tired now, it's take 12, and I'm like, I'm beat. And he's like, I said, what are you not getting? What do you need?
What are you looking for?
And he goes, I need you to run faster. And I was like, okay. And the shot was like this high on me.
That's funny.
And so I'm run as fast as I can,
Yeah.
And so all I did was I just started pumping my arms faster. So I just started going like this with my arms faster.
Yeah.
And I came back and goes, that was so much faster. I was like, yeah, my legs are still like.
Yeah, we were sore the next day, if I remember.
Yeah, a little bit.
That was a good one. That was when me and you were sitting between takes and on the railroad tracks and whipping rocks.
Throwing rocks.
What were we trying to hit?
I think this is a guy thing.
Yeah.
That like anytime you can throw rocks at an object, like you'd set a can up.
Yes.
And then we just start chucking it.
That was exciting. That was more exciting.
Oh, do you know what we were doing?
Yeah.
We were throwing things in the air.
Oh,
and
that's
trying
right.
To pick them out of the air.
That's right. Somebody would throw a rock up high and
Nah,
try to
that
hit the
sounds
other rock.
good. That sounds way
that
better
actually
than
was a skill.
throwing it at a
That was
can.
What we were doing.
We
But we
nailed
also
it.
had basketball almost every day.
Yes, we shot around right in front of our two trailers. We played hoop. We enjoyed a baseball catch here and there.
There was a little baseball catch with even Noah's kid.
I haven't played baseball in a while. That was my favorite sport growing up, and us having a catch was tremendous. You brought 2 gloves. You hooked that up for us.
I went. It's funny. So I just did the speaking gig in Cincinnati, Ohio, and back in the day, I had a couple of tryouts for the Cincinnati Reds, and so I was in Cincinnati 3 weeks ago, and the owner of the Reds was there, and he
You had
came
a
out.
tryout for the
And first,
Reds?
he comes out and he found my
You are an
1978
athlete.
scouting report. Which is the
Holy
funniest
shit.
thing you've
What's
ever
it
heard.
say?
It was like it said
Fast.
he's a decent fielder. He's got decent speed. He's got a shit arm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you had
I was
a good
16.
arm.
I mean, at that point, you
weren't throwing right?
you're not throwing like you did later.
But
got
you
older.
have a gun on you, and I do, and you're fast. as
Well,
shit.
but compared to those guys, I wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought I was. I thought I was.
Right.
I had a hat. I thought I looked the part. But then he goes, and then he stands up and he says, "But since you didn't make it," and he gave me a 1-day contract with the Reds.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
And then we got into the playoffs for the first time. So I feel as
you
if
did
perhaps
it for all of Ohio.
perhaps I may have really
For Chrissy
brought-
Hind, you did it for the Pretenders.
I did for the Pretenders.
Yeah.
That's true. What else? Can we
Do you
talk?
remember when you got your baseball hat growing up? My father used to say, "Stay with the flat brim," and I'd say, "But no, you got to bend
No, you
it."
bend it. You bend it. I would fold mine over.
Yes.
Put like a crease in the top. Even.
Yeah.
And sometimes you put little creases on the side.
On the side, kind of like rounded.
It kind of hooked you in.
Yes.
And kept the sun out of you.
I thought I was looking good. My father always said, "What are you doing to your hat, man? You're
Really?
ruining it. Keep it flat."
Oh, no.
He'd say like the old Brooklyn Dodgers used to keep it flat, so he'd get mad at me for that one.
Really? Well, it was funny because when I was growing up, the worst thing you could have is like clean, white, brand new tennis shoes.
Oh, that's right.
So the minute you got them, you take them out and rub them in the dirt.
Exactly, and your
stuff.
mother would yell at you. Yeah.
And nowadays, it's just the opposite.
And we're cutting there. You guys
Oh,
nailed this so hard.
good.
You did nothing.
That was nice, George.
Maybe our best thing we've ever done in our life.
Better than the movie.
Oh, maybe even better than like even saving people's. Like the woman you pulled out of the bus that was on fire.
Yeah.
This is better than that.
Thank you.
Wait, he pulled a woman out of a fire? Adam Sandler pulled a woman out of a fire in a bus? That's not in the movie. That's not in Jay Kelly. I think he's serious. The woman you pulled out the fire. He's being sarcastic that this is the best thing. Adam Sandler just keeps adding to his legacy. Legendary. Chat, watch the movie. Chat, watch the movie. Hey, listen, I made it my business to watch this movie because I told you I would if the movie was there. I watched the film. Good film. Great movie. Great movie. I really want to see it again. I was sleepy, Chad, while I was watching it. But it wasn't. It had nothing to do with the film.
Hey, what's good, y'all? It's your
had-
boy 2 Cent.
Bro, we're talking. It had everything to do. Put a pin in it. It had everything to do with.
I have a tough time feeling proud of myself.
It had everything to do with the fact that I just had a long night. But yeah, Chad, you gotta see the movie. Adam Sandler, George Clooney. Great movie. It's on Netflix, Chad. Just what are you waiting for?
Yeah?
Yeah. And I just wanted to think about.
I don't think I'm not making no guarantees, because I mean I because of that my entire day was backed up, which is why we're looking at 10 o'clock right now, and I'm only on my second hour of reaction videos. My entire day was thrown off because I messed up by having to stay up that late to watch the movie. So I'm not making no guarantees, but I'm going to try whenever I can throughout this week to watch, because they dropped the movie, Jay Kelly, and they dropped the making of. So I'm going to try to watch that so we can have something to talk about with that. I really want to give y'all more about the movie, but I'd be dead wrong. Like, there's no way I don't give a spoiler alert. The only spoiler I'll give you is the reason they were running in that scene. Remember when he said, you know, oh, for the scene when we had to run, they were all running to catch a guy. That's it. I would tell you what the guy did, but then you're sitting there watching the movie for 40 minutes waiting when's it going to happen. Watch the movie. Yeah, that's the best spoiler I can do. I'm not going to ruin it.
With you for a couple minutes. Yeah, I just have a really tough time feeling you know, people are always like, you should feel proud of yourself, you know, and it's really tough for me to do that.
Well, you know, pride is a cardinal sin, you know, and there's a reason for that. And there's a reason that pride goes before a fall. And I don't think you should be proud of yourself. I don't think that's the right terminology.
Okay.
And I think that's a place where our culture has really fallen off the rails. It's like, you should be convinced in your heart that you're doing the best you can with what you've been given, right? And hopefully that'll make you less anxious and it'll make you more hopeful. But, you know, you should have the same kind of regard for yourself that you have for someone that you love. And that's not pride. It would be lovely if you could orient your thoughts to yourself so that you could allow yourself to be pleased if you thrived. It's not pride. It's
Okay,
a recognition
say it again.
of.
It would be nice if I
could orient yourself to yourself so you would be pleased if you thrive. Do you imagine you have a son? You want your son to do well.
Oh yeah, I already want him to do well, and he doesn't even exist.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, that's the attitude you should have towards yourself too. Is that, you know, you should also strive. You know, look, if your son goes out and plays a soccer game, you know, you want him to do well. You don't want him to be arrogant and prideful, and you don't want him to be the star at everyone else's expense.
Yeah.
You want him to do well when he deserves to do well, and you want him to deserve to do well. Well, that's the attitude you should have towards yourself. It's like you should set yourself up so that if things are good for you, that's good. Now, you should be grateful about that, right? And you should be amazed that it's happening, given how many things can go wrong. You should allow yourself the luxury of success, right? But then you should also hope for that for everyone else. It's like,
Right.
well, we could set up the
100%.
world so that we had life more abundant and everyone was successful. And we should treat ourselves as if we're the sorts of creatures for whom success is acceptable, right? And we do have doubts about that because everyone, well, we're flawed deeply, we're mortal and we're vulnerable and we're subject to suffering and we're ignorant and we make mistakes. And it's easy to think that a creature like that deserves nothing but, say, unending punishment and misery, you know, but I think you give yourself the benefit of the doubt like you do someone you love. And if success comes along, you say, well, I'm so grateful for this and I hope I can take the opportunity to make proper use of it. And you let yourself, you're not obligated to torture yourself beyond whatever is necessary to help you learn. Right. And if you can drop that and you can accept, you know, it's also the case, look, man, you're going to have rough times. They're coming. They're always coming. And if you're having a okay time now, then you think, okay, I'll just use this to recuperate and I'll use it advantageously and I'll accept it in good graces without thinking that somehow I'm special and deserve it. But gratitude's an excellent practice, man.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of arrogance and resentment. I think it's a great thing to become an expert at. And I think that you can allow yourself happiness if you're grateful.
There's something inside of us, like you always want to make your father proud.
Yeah.
Like there's something inside of a man, right?
Yeah.
Like my father's been dead for probably 20 years, but I always want to make him proud. I can feel it
Yeah.
almost as real as if he's
Yeah.
right
Well,
there.
that's a better
What is
marker,
that?
I would say. Well, look,
Why is that tether so
because
like
there's no difference between the spirit of your fathers and God. It's the same thing. Like, I think, strip it of religious significance for now. The spirit of the forefathers, that's God. And you have a responsibility that you're a historical creature. You have a destiny. It's necessary for you to uphold certain traditions. It's necessary for you to follow a certain pathway. It's necessary for you to align yourself with the spirit that drove mankind forward, right? That's the spirit of the fathers. And that's, if your father loved you, he's the outflowing of that spirit, and you are responsible to it, or you're responsible to something else, man. So it's a good instinct. It's a good instinct. You know, and one of the things Carl Jung pointed out, so brilliant, he said, you don't want to confuse your father with God. You want to detach the idea of God from your father and put it above your specific father. You want to see your father as an exemplar. The love that you got from your father as an exemplar of something like the proper transcendent relationship. Because that also takes you away from being just the son of your father, because you risk not growing up then, right? If you're under his thumb, if you're always looking for his approval. So you got to get that right. You got to strive forward to make the spirit of the father proud, but you also have to be an independent person, and you do that by separating out the spirit so that you're beholden to something that's above all men, right? But still real. It's like the essence. That's another way that you can conceptualize God is the essence of paternal love.
right?
Right. And so it's the same thing, like many fathers love their son, right? So that love isn't specific to any given relationship. You could extract it. Well, that spirit is part of what's always been considered, that's the patriarchal aspect of God. That's a good way of thinking about it.
No, I love that.
The truth is, not every child gets the chance to
Chad.
go to the movies.
It's so crazy to me how, 8-minute conversation, so much game and knowledge was spewed back and forth. Chat, there's one thing that I'll say is a takeaway for me that I would encourage, or really not just you, but anybody, my friends, my family, I would encourage them to practice this or put it to practice. Gratitude, for me, gratitude is my choice of weapon. 100%. When I don't know what to do, I pay attention to what I'm grateful for. When I feel stuck, I pay attention to what I'm grateful for. When I feel lost, I pay attention to what I'm not lost in. When I feel like things are taking forever, dreams are taking too long, I'm too broke, I'm alone. Whenever the dark cloud is over me, I pay attention to the things I'm grateful for. What about the things I have? If I got time to look at what I don't have and how much more I have to go, I don't have a wife. I don't have children. I haven't been given a gold spoon or the biggest opportunity yet. I don't have 40 friends. I don't have fill in the blank. But if I got energy to take my mind and travel on what I don't have, I got the energy to take my mind and travel on the things I do have. Not sleeping in the street tonight. I won't be hungry tonight. Opportunity is still in front of me. I'm not sitting in a prison cell for the rest of 30 years to my life. I'm home. I'm free. I'm breathing without a respirator. I'm not in a hospital waiting for someone to slowly pass. And I'm not in a hospital for any other reason or for whatever reason. That's a whole lot to be thankful for. I'm not fighting in the streets just to get some food on my plate. I'm not harming no one, innocent, or out for blood on the innocent. There's a lot to be grateful for. So much to be grateful for that we're too quick to overlook. That's what we need to focus on. And at the end of the day, look, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I don't care what no one says. Life has improved me different. Life has shown me that if you stick it out, you can keep your head up throughout the whole way. It's almost like patience. Life is like patience. You can go into the doctor's office tomorrow and you could be patient. You could find something to do with your time. Let's call it your journey. You could sit down during your journey. You could look up at the TV they got. You could see that the show that they're playing is the worst show known to mankind. And you can complain about it, or you could just watch it. You could pull out your phone and you could find something to do, or you could play a game, or you could text people that you haven't texted in a long time and see how they're doing, and just let them know you're praying for them and you love them. You could sit there on your journey and talk to God. You can dwell. You could think about the good. You could think about your day. You choose what to do in the midst of your journey. Or you can go to the office tomorrow, see it's busy, and complain and get angry and curse people out and get in a screaming match with the doctors and get people dirty looks and grab the magazine there and rip out a couple pages just because you feel like it and you want the steak recipe and you don't respect nobody's property, which is fine. It's just a magazine. But the point is, by the end of the journey, when you finally get to where you're going, you either did one thing with your patience or you did another thing in your patience. You either showed patience or you didn't show patience. But regardless, the time would have passed. So with life and with anything that you're waiting to do, your dreams, your passions, your aspirations, your goals, the time is going to pass regardless. What do you do in the midst of it? Are you complaining and making it? Are you adding to your challenge every day? You gotta motivate yourself, practice discipline, and show up to do the work, and also get by a whole hour that you waste moping, complaining, acting sour and bitter, looking at people's Instagrams and saying that's BS, looking at people's YouTubes and telling yourself he's not even that funny, looking at this and just nitpicking things and moving wacky and angry with yourself, and then finally you come back to reality and get to the things you need to get done to get you closer to your dreams? Or can you take the time to be happy for people? Do what you gotta do. Motivate yourself, stay disciplined, and remind yourself, instead of reminding yourself how far you're not, remind yourself how far you came, how much closer you are, and how it can happen any day now. How much work you've put in. Grateful. Just be grateful. Chat, am I saying it like it's easy? No. I'm a work in progress. I don't have it down packed. Many days I get up and I'm angry at myself. For whatever reason. Feel like I could do more. Feel like things aren't happening fast enough. 100 different things. But what I'm saying is, it's your best bet to put the practice into being grateful and just moving forward. Just keep moving forward. You never know what's right around the corner. It can happen any day now. But when you take your energy and put it on something, you're robbing that energy from being used for something else. The hour that you spend looking at YouTube and telling yourself this guy's not even funny, this guy sucks. How did this guy get 100K followers? How's this person got 93K? What the heck? All they do is shorts. Instead of looking at it negatively, oh bro got 93K? and all he does is shorts, all right, I'm doing something wrong. I need to double down on my shorts. All right, encouraging. All right, what are his shorts about? Does he hashtag anything? Oh, let me write that down. Dating. Okay, he uses the hashtag dating in every single one. Was he even? Let me see what he's talking about. Oh, he's making money off YouTube. He's talking about money. So he wasn't even talking about dating. Okay, so dating must be a tag he notices. It increases the algorithm. Let me use that. Let me put that away. Let me start using dating on some of my shorts. All right, I need to find more clippers. I need some shorts. Who's this? Oh, he got you. Oh, he does reaction videos. What's he reacted to? Okay, man, he's running the numbers up. What's his most popular video? Oh, okay, it had to do with movies. I need to check that out. I need to do some movie reactions. You can just be motivating, sharpening, and happy for people, or you can sit there and get angry. And it's hard to think. It's harder to think straight when you're angry. It's harder to think business savvy when you're angry. And chat, the worst trait of a man gotta be bitter. Because as long as you're not in jail and you're alive, what are you bitter about? Just keep going. Just keep trying. Okay, it takes 10 more years. Okay, it takes 4. Okay, it takes 8 more months. Okay, it takes 20. But what are you bitter about? Nobody owes us, chat. Nobody owes us nothing. It's by the grace of the Lord that most of us get where we're going. Do some get lucky? Yeah, people get lucky. Some get luckier than most of us. But what are you doing? And what more can you do? And have you sat down and gave yourself 3 things that you can stop doing in 2026 that will get you that much closer to your goals? You can stop drinking. And if you're not a heavy drinker and you drink every now and again, you can stop smoking. And if you're not even a smoker, or you are a smoker, but you don't pay that much for bud, you get by. Okay, you can stop doing. You can stop wasting 2 hours in the morning on YouTube Shorts. You could stop watching Netflix till 5 in the morning and going to bed at 6 o'clock and waking up at 3 o'clock. And you could stop spending so much money on DoorDash. Buy a couple groceries, cook every once in a while. You don't got to be a cook. I know men don't like to cook for the most part. God bless the ones who do. But you could stop DoorDash and take $300, $260 and go get an agent. Not even an agent, just subscribe for your local auditioning so you can start doing auditions from home. You can take Zoom calls and do movie auditions and try to get into little roles. There's so much more we can do with our time and energy. And we just always put it in the wrong places. You can stop chasing girls on Facebook and writing women. You're talking to 8 different women and you're in their inbox and you're trying to take 4 of them on a date and 3 of them you're trying to sleep with without spending any money, but you're wasting time. All of that time could be used on YouTube. You could be clipping shorts, you could be reacting, you could be doing your own podcast, you could be doing anything on YouTube, but you're chasing women and not a bag. You lose money chasing women, never lose women chasing money. That's been the code of conduct from the beginning of time. Women will still be there. You can stop partying every weekend. Every weekend you're at all the parties, you're at all the spots. Yeah, you got money in your pocket. So what? You got $800. All right, you make $1,500 a week. You make $1,500. So you got $800. You feel like the bull. You got a bottle. You're talking to girls. You dress nice. You got a car, and you think you're him. But 2026, bro, you can keep living like that and being him every now and again, when really, if you were just focusing on YouTube, separate yourself from the parties, you can really get a bag. You could be making $1,500 a day off YouTube, not $1,500 a week or every 2 weeks. Somebody can spend your check at Roof Chris if they take 5 of their family members out for dinner. That's not. I think we get too caught up in this little. And again, if that's what you want, if that's it for you, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You're a working man. You're providing something to society, and you're happy. But if you're talking about, I want to do this in life, and I want a car, and I want to own a home, and I want a YouTube channel, then do it. Do more. But we got to stop putting our energy in the wrong things. At the end of the day, chat, what are we grateful for? This feels like it should have been a reaction video on Thanksgiving Day. All right, chat. 49 minutes. Get out. Now, get out.